National Police Week, a time to honor the men and women in blue, but there are some concerns when it comes to law enforcement. And joining us live from Jackson is Sean Tindell, the Commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Public Safety. Commissioner, how are you doing this afternoon?
Doing well. It's a beautiful day out there, and it's sun is out, and one of those days you wish it was the weekend already.
That's true. So, Sean, let's just dive right in. Yesterday, you held a memorial service for law enforcement officers across the state of Mississippi. How many officers have we lost this year, and what is your message when it comes to thanking a police officer?
Well, it's a lot of times it's a thankless job, and one in which these officers make a great deal of sacrifice, and unfortunately, sometimes they have to make the ultimate sacrifice, which is their lives. I think it's important that we honor them every chance we get, and we remember them for their service, and we do what we can to recognize that for the families and be there to support them as well. As far as the number of officers, I think as it stands right now in 2023, we lost 2 officers in the line of duty, which is actually down from some of the earlier years, particularly when COVID was impacting the law enforcement communities. But nonetheless, very tragic situations. We had an officer in George County that was killed, and an officer from Northeast Mississippi that was involved trying to assist somebody in a traffic accident when the vehicle rolled over and killed Mike Griffin, former
Right,
state trooper.
yes, we do remember him. Now, Commissioner, when it comes to officer-involved shootings, a lot of them have been happening. I mean, to the point we're getting emails practically every other weekend. What is a solution to be able to curb the amount of officer-involved shootings?
Well, obviously this is an issue and one that I think has been around, but since the legislature mandated the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation handle investigating all officer-involved shootings and the Attorney General's office prosecute or at least review those cases for prosecution, there's certainly more attention that comes to them now, and we put information out, press releases to the public, and we also release our video footage, body cam footage of those incidences once we complete our investigation. So, one, I think it's important that we have the transparency that's been created with this new law, and of course, sometimes that draws a little more attention to what's going on, and people are talking about it. But I've always been a big proponent of transparency. That we've got to show these videos to the public. We have to accept responsibility if there's ones that aren't handled appropriately, and ultimately, when you're transparent, it creates a culture of accountability, and with accountability comes trust from the public. And that's really the goal here. The other aspect of that for our officers, I think, is always better training.
Hmm.
They're put in very tough situations where they have to make split-second decisions, and they cannot get enough training. And I was really proud of the legislature this year to pass legislation that required all state law enforcement and sheriff's office to get continuing education as a law enforcement officer throughout the year. In the past, they just had to pass their basic courses, and they weren't required to receive continuing education like the police departments were. So I think that's a big step in the right direction as well.
Oh, okay. Now, Commissioner, before we let you go, if you can make this really brief, but recruitment seems to be another issue when it comes to law enforcement. What kind of strategies do you have in place?
Well, I think we want to get into our community colleges and our colleges, talk to our military recruiters that, as folks are leaving the military, this could be a great opportunity for you to pursue a career in public safety and really competitive salaries. We've got to be able to compete with money these days. And if you're going to attract the best and brightest to come into this profession, we need to pay them a wage that's commensurate with what they could get in other fields. And that's really a sign of when it's a true profession is when you pay it that way.
All right, then thank you so much there, Commissioner Sean Tindell, for joining us this afternoon.
Thank y'all.